I think the job of being a teacher is so rewarding in so many ways.
The connection between you and the whole class, that's still unbeatable.
When my pupils are successful, it feels incredible.
I think the greatest thing for me is seeing the pupils that I teach love the subject as much as I do.
I don't think there's any other job where you get the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search Apply to Teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
Gamertag Radio is on play.in.
You can now watch Gamertag Radio live on Twitch.
Get all the latest news and coverage related to the gaming industry.
Join hosts Danny Pena, Paris Lilly, and Peter Toledo.
Don't miss the crew record the podcast live Sundays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get involved with the conversation, send us questions, and be part of the show.
Gamertag Radio.
Follow us, twitch.tv/Gamertag Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio. With your host, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Here we go.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 695. This is your host, Danny, and joining me this week, the whole Gamertag Radio crew. We have Pete in the house. Pete.
Pew, pew, pew. What up?
What up, man? What's going on?
Doing all right. Not surprised with last night's events on that Mayweather/McGregor spectacle, and I guess we could talk about that at the end of the show, or as we have time. But I enjoyed it. It's been a good weekend.
Cool. And also we have Paris too. Paris, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone that's listening to this right now and watching us on Twitch. This has been an amazing week. Just, obviously for Gamertag Radio as a whole, and just for me personally, just a lot of great content's been coming out. Just been getting a lot of love from different sources, around the industry, and it's amazing, man. It just keeps you fueled, keeps you want to keep doing this stuff. So just thank you to all those videos and stuff that I've been putting out for Destiny 2. Been getting a lot of traction on those, so I really appreciate all the support.
Definitely. Props to you, Paris. I really enjoy the whole YouTube video, plus your Q&A that you had too. That was very unique and very cool too. I like that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. For those that may be listening or watching and not know what I'm talking about, on Twitch earlier this week, I did like a 1-hour Q&A where I just took some of the footage that I got from Destiny 2, had it playing on Twitch, and just people that were in the chat were able to ask me questions about it. I answered what I could. I danced around what I could not. But overall, I think it was pretty good. So actually, Pete and I are thinking about doing another one later today. So we'll see about that. Yep. Very cool. And also, we have to talk about this, guys. We're going to PAX. Super last minute invite. I'm very excited. I haven't been to Seattle and PAX like in 9 years, almost a decade. Pete, what was your last time you were there?
Last time I was there was 2012. Invited by the good folks over at EA to check out their Medal of Honor Warfighter game. It was it's exactly what I remember it to be. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those few instances where we go from the video game blog / media side, but the focus isn't on. While there's minor focus on the games, for me personally, the bigger focus is the community, which is the one thing that we here have always espoused and been a major fan of, which is the community. And it's a great opportunity to meet people that maybe you've always interacted with online or on social media, but you never physically meet them. And that's where I've actually had an opportunity to meet a lot of the people that I communicate with. One of our great mods, Cypher, Tanya, she'll be there. First time we all get to meet her, I believe.
No, I met her.
You've met her before.
Super
okay,
cool.
So, but
yeah,
super cool. You don't count.
And instead of just letting you continue, he had to interrupt and make that known.
Of course.
No, I met her, but not you.
and make it about Danny, as usual. We know. But at the end of the day, it's an opportunity to meet people that we may not normally interact with. We did this a couple of weeks ago when you and I were in San Francisco. I met a friend of mine, Flynn, who I've gamed with online for almost 10 years now. That was the first time we actually physically met and got to actually see each other. We're friends on Facebook, etc. But it's a different thing when you're actually interacting with one person live and in person, right? So it's one of the great things about PAX, and hopefully this won't be the last PAX that we go to. You know, hopefully it won't be another 8, 9, 10 years between PAXs. You know, I'd like for us to potentially maybe start going to these, maybe have us go to Boston in the cold in the winter, or maybe go down to Austin or whatever, or who knows, maybe Australia. Awesome. Ooh.
And also, Paris, when was your last time you were at a PAX? Do you remember?
2011.
2011.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That was the debut of Not Fat Anymore Paris. Because at that point, no one had actually seen me when I had lost all the weight. That was the first time. So it was awesome. So that was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna be really busy like for the next couple weeks. I'll let you know if we're gonna be streaming or not during those times that we're out of town and stuff or not. But yeah, we have a lot of content coming, man. A lot of content. That's it, folks. Holiday season, it just started, man. So I'm very excited about all the things coming up in the future for not only GTR but all of us, man. You know what I'm saying? So very, very excited. So anything else, guys, before we go to the topics?
Let's rock and roll, man.
All right, let's do it.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so this episode we have an interview with who is it from the crew that we have, Pete? Is it the developer or game director? I can't remember exactly.
I'm poor planning here on my phone.
I know.
No, it's I believe it's the game one of the game directors or the lead developer. We had him on the show during E3 for when I got to meet him at the pre-E3 Ubisoft event. We had an opportunity to sit down again with him, this time in a lighted area.
Yes, yeah.
So the story behind this, and I think we talk about it in the interview, is our first interview was on the rooftop in LA at night. It was like 10 o'clock at night. It was pitch black outdoors, but it was the quietest area for us to actually sit down and talk. So we actually got a chance to actually sit down with him and talk with him about the Crew 2, the changes that have gone or they've implemented, updates and such since the E3 build. And I think our listeners will be pleasantly surprised. It's building up again. It's the Crew 2. It's mayhem on the streets and off road, etc. It's great. I've been really, really enjoying our time with that game. You and I had a blast, obviously, while we played. So I can't wait.
Definitely, yeah. We're gonna play that interview later on, and also we're gonna have like hands-on impressions about the game too. But first, let's start with this topic because. This was posted by Xbox. They said that Xbox One X is the fastest Xbox pre-order ever for the company. Your thoughts, guys?
What does that mean? And I'm being salty on purpose. I say that because they don't release numbers anymore. So what does that really mean? It's the fastest compared to what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My thing is, you've noticed over the last 3 console releases, whether it's been PlayStation 4, Xbox One S, or Nintendo Switch, it's now the fastest selling it's the fastest selling insert blank pre-order blank, of 2017 or ever. Does it matter?
I think for every company, they have to do that to hype it up, So it's good for them because I think we've been saying it since day one that the fans we're gonna be the first ones to pre-order this product, and the challenge that we all been saying since day one also is. What about people like Paris, people like you, Pete, or people that have never even pre-ordered an Xbox before? Are they gonna get them later this year or next year? That's the challenge. Like this is the hardcore fan, so we knew that was gonna happen. Same thing with PlayStation, same exact thing, and Nintendo. So, but yeah, it could be the fastest one ever because if you check out the NPDs always for like the past couple years now, they're saying that Xbox One and also PlayStation 4 has been outselling the previous consoles during this time. So I could see that happening though. When they say it's like the fastest for them.
Now, not to make it a negative thing. I mean, I'm happy that there's still a desire for gamers, and I'm not gonna drill down to specific demographics for it, but I'm glad that they're still able to push out this thing here during the holiday season. I'm happy that there's an increase in performance in the hardware side. But if they're gonna make a claim like this, why not put out the numbers? Like, what's the con towards this? Like, obviously the pro is for the marketing purpose and stuff like that. But why not give me numbers? Why not give backup to their claim?
That's every company should do that then, because every MPDs, they never mention numbers ever. And the only time that Sony will mention that is like, I mean, of course they're number one right now, but they'll mention every time they surpass the previous record or whatever. So they'll mention it, and Nintendo been doing it. So it all depends on the company and what type of press release they have too. So, Paris, you're gonna say something, or Pete?
Okay, well, actually, let's stay on topic, and then I just saw a funny thing I have to comment on as well. Like Pete said, this is a good thing. Obviously, it's great that the Xbox One X is having high pre-order sales, but we pretty much knew this would happen because all the hardcore Xbox fans are going to run out day one and go get it. So I'm not surprised by this at all. And yeah, it's a great thing. And I hope the Xbox One X is a smash success. Digital Foundry basically co-signed the power of it this week by looking at some of the early games that are going to be getting upgrades on it, which is fantastic. The thing's going to be a monster. No one is disputing that at all. I just wish, and this isn't just Microsoft, it's kind of like you're saying, Danny, I wish all these companies, Sony, PlayStation, and all that, stop spitting out positive headlines for sales numbers when it fits your narrative. But when you guys aren't doing so great on sales numbers, it's freaking crickets. You know what I'm saying? So it's like either just full disclosure on your numbers or just don't do it at all. It's all marketing PR speak. And like I said, it's 6:30 in the morning here, so maybe I'm just cranky. I'd take a sip of coffee or something, but it just annoys me when I see that stuff all the time. But I get why they do it. They're excited because they have high pre-order sales numbers, but give me some comparison to what those pre-sale numbers are going to be about. And again, I'm going to acknowledge Twitch chat really quick. Someone in Twitch chat even just said they're not going to top the numbers of the original Xbox One at launch with these. So again, what are the number comparisons with pre-orders? There's no way you can tell me that this had higher pre-order numbers than the Xbox One when that originally was coming out back in 2013. So. Oh, but the one thing I wanted to acknowledge, someone asked me on Twitter, what are we going to do when we hit episode 696? Because, I'm Vicious 696. So
absolutely
actually,
nothing.
That's nothing because you're not going to be on. That's coming up this week.
Oh, my God, you're right. There you go. Everyone listening and watching, your treat is my angry old ass won't be on here. There you go. 696. All right.
It will be salt free.
Yes.
Sodium free. Low sodium podcast.
There you go, man. All right, so let's talk about the next topic. So one of our listeners hit us up on through Discord. There's a family channel. They were asking like, hey, why we don't talk about Japanese games? We always talking about like European and American games and stuff. But they would love to see some Japanese content here. And I can only mention only one right now that I can think of that was like a big buzz this week was Secret of Mana 3D remake that's coming out February 15th for the PlayStation 4 and also PlayStation Vita. Guess the Vita's still alive. Were you a fan of that game, Paris, back in the days? Because I was a huge fan.
No, not really.
No? Okay. Well, There you go. It's only me.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but that was coming out February 15th. I'm very, very excited about this. I know there's a trailer too. If you go to the PlayStation blog there, and P, you ever played this game for Square? It came out for the Super Nintendo back in the day.
No, remember, I'm not the JRPG fan. So this means this has like zero interest for me. I'm not even going to try to, veil it or hide it. But you'll be able to play it at PAX West because they will have
it there for PAX.
They'll have it at the the Square Enix booth and the PlayStation booth. So if you get an opportunity to go stop by there, any of the listeners or people on Twitch watching, if you guys are at PAX, hit us up. And then if you want to check out Secret of Mana, you can play it there at the Square Enix booth and the PlayStation booth there in PAX West.
So when the game came out back in the days for the Super Nintendo, I finished the game because I played it with my brother. So we had like a little adapter because we wanted to play with our friends because you could play up to 3 players. But once that was done, it was only my brother and I would play. And we finished the game together. So that was pretty cool. But this time, they're going to have voice characters. That's pretty awesome. Brand new soundtrack, and also local multiplayer for your PlayStation 4 and also Vita. I wonder how the Vita works. It's going to be probably wirelessly. So I'm very, very excited. So yeah, you could go right now and pre-order. They're going to have it now on PSN. And yeah, I'm going to try it out at PAX, and I definitely will give you my feedback. And maybe we can interview somebody that's there. Probably will do that. I'll make that happen. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. Very excited.
You know what else provides affordability and variety and flexibility? Not just video game consoles, but Blue Apron. That's right. I'm trying to compare food to video games, and it's legit. It's there, right? So Blue Apron, we've talked about them in the past. They're sponsors of the show, and they do all of those things that we all want in a game console. Blue Apron does the same thing with their food delivery service. They're affordable. You figure it's about $10 per person per meal. You get amazing recipes. You get variety. It's not just first party, it's third party foods as well. You get the flexibility because you can change up the schedule, how you have them delivered. They're easy. You just jump in. It's like what's Danny's favorite game these days, Thumper. You just jump in and you can just play. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do something like that? I mean, just think about it. I mean, aside from the logistics of having the food delivered to you, you don't have to go to the store. You don't have to do any of that. But you get the food itself. And they have this really cool series now called the Master Chef series, where they're taking guest chef recipes and including them in the boxes so that you can, if that's one of the meals you choose, you get to make it. So like, this week, it's like Fontina cheeseburgers with cilantro and like yellow tomato salad. I can't wait to try something like that. And you got, vegetable and egg paninis. And then upcoming, you've got basil pesto chicken. I mean, who doesn't like a good basil pesto chicken? Come on, it's just good stuff. Meatball pizza, which is, that's like a number one pizza thing for me for like the past year, is just pizza with meatballs. I mean, it just sounds good, right? So, I mean, if you want to be in on this amazing first and third party food experience, I'm taking that and I'm riding with it, right? So if you want this amazing food delivery service from Blue Apron, I suggest you go over there, check them out, check out the week's menu, get your first 3 meals free with free shipping. Just go to blueapron.com/gamertag. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait, just go do it. Just go out, buy the Xbox One S, and get a Blue Apron membership going at the same time. That's blueapron.com/gamertag. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
Also, Paris, I know you mentioned about Digital Foundry, man. They talked about Skyrim for the Switch. It looks pretty good, man, for a Switch game. Really, really good. I'm very excited about that too, man. You guys been a fan of that game back in the days, right? When it was it for the Xbox 360? During that time?
Yeah, I mean, when Skyrim came out, it's probably one of my favorite RPGs of all time. So yeah, I absolutely love that open world aspect that they gave you. And I would say until I played that like I play The Witcher 3 now. Let's put it that way. That's how much I love Skyrim. So yeah, I'm happy to see that it's performing very well on the Switch, and hopefully it'll introduce that game to some people that never had an opportunity to try it out in the past.
Yeah, very excited about that, man. And now they did talk about that. There was like a little cable connected to the Switch. Maybe that probably helped the system a little bit or something. I don't know what was that they were talking about. Because they got to play this during Gamescom. But usually, every time you go to an event, they always have those cables because they just don't want people to steal the Switch. I don't see that as like something helping it, though.
In this instance, it was actually being played on Black Box dev kits.
Okay.
So if they see a cable going to it, it's probably because it's running off of the dev kit as opposed to an actual switch. And that's what I'm led to believe from researching it. So at the end of the day, I'm glad we're finally actually seeing Skyrim. I know they advertised it during the launch of the Switch, and I remember we were all watching it and commenting live and stuff like that. But I think this is a good thing to start showcasing third-party titles on a device like a Switch. Like you said, it brings in a game like this to a whole new demographic and player base that may have never had an opportunity, because there are people that are just staunch, Nintendo players. They don't venture, over to Nintendo, to the Xbox or the Sony side. So I'm glad. Hopefully the Switch can support the gameplay consistently. For a game like Skyrim, it's a large game. I mean, even if you're talking from an Xbox, or even, especially, let's not even venture into the PC side, because on the PC side, it's a monster with mods out the wazoo. But on the Switch, my concern would be, will that Switch hardware be able to support the constant gameplay and stuff going through it on a regular basis? You know what I mean? Like if you're on a 3-hour gameplay, will the battery be able to last long enough? And will you start getting stuttering or whatnot because the internal cache of the device won't be able to support the game?
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be a huge success. And what are your thoughts about third-party companies releasing these games that came out for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, now for the Switch? Because now you could take it portable and you can take it outside, man.
No, it's like I was saying, at the end of the day, it just depends on whether the hardware can support it or can't handle it. These demos that we saw at Gamescom for people talking about playing Skyrim, that's a 15-minute slice in time that people are going to play. We don't know what's going to happen beyond that, right? Obviously, the developers are going to optimize the experience of players and reviewers while at a experience like Gamescom. They're not going to make it work so hard that it's going to jeopardize the outcome or the viewpoint of the player or the reviewer. Mm-hmm. So in these controlled cases, it's great, but I want to see the long term. I want to see a larger sample size of what they're bringing out.
Definitely. All right, so we're going to play this review of Mario Rabbids for the Nintendo Switch, and we'll be right back after this.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
Back on the scene. This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-273-7-GTR.
You remember the first time you heard that Ubisoft and Nintendo were working on a game for the Nintendo Switch? Me, I was thinking, man, could it be a Zombie U type game? That was pretty cool. It came out for the Nintendo Wii U. But then I heard it was Mario and Rabbids together into one game. So I was like, okay, maybe it's like a little party game. It wasn't even about that either. This game, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, is one of my favorite Nintendo Switch games of this year. There's a lot of things that this game reminds me of. I go back with Advance Wars, or a little bit of Super Mario RPG. Also, there's even a partner game that also reminded me of Final Fantasy III. Do you remember the Opera House where you go inside and they start singing for the first time? And it was like something cool and brand new, unique. During that time, they came out for the Super Nintendo. That moment also reminded me of that while playing this game. I truly, truly love Mario Rabbids. When I went to E3, I felt like this was one of my favorite games that I played during the whole show. Even I put it up there with Mario Odyssey. And a couple weeks ago, even though I think it was like a month ago, so I went to New York, and developers, I sat down with them and they showed me one of the boss battles in the game from World 3. That boss battle, which I'm not going to mention anything about that. I just want you to actually play it and get this experience. Don't even go online, try to research about it. Be surprised, because that part was so good, was so special to me. It reminded me of that moment, of seeing that moment from Final Fantasy 3, the opera house is singing and stuff. And it was one of the coolest boss battles that I've seen in any Mario game, period. And I think years from now, people are still going to be talking about that World 3 boss battle. So dope. Why does Mario and Rabbids, how that, like, story-wise, how does it really make sense? Yes. Playing this game now for over a week now. This, yes, it makes a lot of sense. The story is so well made. Here's a little bit about the story. The Rabbids discover an AR helmet called Super Merge, capable of merging two items. So let's say you see a lamp and you see a flower together, and it'll transform into like a big, huge flower lamp type thing. And they start messing around with it, with the device, and they usually do infuse themselves with various items. So that's why you see these characters like Mario, like Rabbids Mario, Rabbids Luigi, Rabbids Yoshi, and so on. Because of that, the machine quickly malfunctions and they get transported into Mushroom Kingdom. And that's how the Rabbids got together with Mario and other characters. So because of this, it caused a lot of trouble using the Super Merge. They ended up going to the Mushroom Kingdom. It was crazy when they got there that Mario separated with all his friends as soon they got together. So they had no choice to get together and work as a team. So that's why Mario met Rabbid Peach and also Rabbid Luigi in the beginning of the game. There is a friend that also going to be guiding you to different places and also giving you feedback and tips of the locations you traveled. There's an AI assistant called Beep O. Each character, they all have different abilities, different power-ups, different ways how they attack enemies. And throughout the game, you can only use 3 at the same time. But let's say I have Mario. You're always going to have Mario no matter what. He's going to be the leader of your party no matter what. So you only could change 2. So let's say I have Mario Luigi, Rabbid Luigi, and then I have Peach, Princess Peach. And I'm fighting a battle and it's not working out. I could go and switch it again with other character until I find the right ones that's going to help me. Now, one thing that I do like about Princess Peach and also Rabbid Peach is they help to heal your team. So you need to have at least one healer in your team that's going to support you throughout the battle. And at the same time, they're really good at attacking enemies too. Awesome. But what about other characters like Luigi? Luigi could also jump multiple times to different enemies, which it helps them. It helps to attack them, and then you could also use your weapon. So, for example, Luigi, remember Luigi Mansion? Everybody knows about the vacuum, the weapon he has. You actually use that for this game. What about Mario? Mario has a gun too, but you also have a secondary weapon. Like Mario, for him, is the hammer. If you go way back in history, Mario, hammer, Donkey Kong, exactly. So yeah, in total, there's 8 heroes. Like I said, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, and also brand new characters, Rabbid Mario, Rabbid Luigi, Rabbid Peach, and Rabbid Yoshi, and so on. There is at least like over 200 weapons. I believe 250 or so. Very unique, and all of them are they're very different, and they will help you to combat the enemies. And this, when I said that this remind me so much of Advance Wars, yes, it's a turn-based type game. Kind of like, a little bit of XCOM, a little bit of Advance Wars, that type of game. And it's so good. Look, I was streaming the other day, and I was only allowed to show 2 worlds during the stream before the whole review and everything, right? And while I was playing the first world, I was there for like a good 3-4 hours while playing that level. So right now I'm in I believe it's the last level, the last world, and it is extremely difficult where I'm at right now. So I just have to figure out what to do to battle these bosses and so on. And also there's puzzles in the game too that will help you not only get items that you can unlock, but also more coins. It will help you to get new weapons. It also helps you to get orbs. The orbs is a great thing to have, because that is a way for you to upgrade your characters and give them some powers. For, like, it could be damage, it could be movement, it could be let's say they come off from a pipe and they have more places to go, based on your upgrade. So it's super important to use that. And let's say you have 100 orbs. So each character is going to have 100 orbs each. So take advantage and mess around until you find the right upgrade for your character. But that's not all. A lot of people have been asking me, Danny, is there any type of multiplayer in this game? Yes, there is. Single player campaign, that's only for single player, but also there's challenges, co-op challenges, local co-op, where you and your friend could play some challenges from any world that you unlock. So let's say World 1, there's multiple levels, there are challenges you could play, and you could change that. You could change the difficulty, I believe 3 levels of difficulty, and you could play that with a friend. And yes, you could share your Joy-Con and play from there too. So yeah, this soundtrack is amazing. The level design is super dope. Let me tell you, man, it doesn't even look like a Nintendo Switch game. I've been traveling a lot, and this is the game that I've been playing non-stop. Yes, when I say that this game is contender of the game of the year, yes, I'm being 100% real about this, man. Truly one of my favorite games that I play on Nintendo Switch, hands down. Truly, let me give a big, huge shout out to the developers on this game, Ubisoft. This game is amazing, super dope. And if you have a Nintendo Switch, this is a must-have. Buy this, cop it. Trust me, you're not going to regret this. Don't think about this as like a party game or anything like that. No, this is a game that I think people are going to be talking about this from years to come. And I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Super Mario RPG, if you're a fan of Advance Wars, XCOM, or even just a fan of Rabbids or a fan of Nintendo, get this game. You are not going to regret this. And tell me, once you play and you got to that World 3 boss, tell me how dope that was. That was one of the coolest boss battles that I've seen, period, for a Mario game, man. Super, super cool. And the developer even mentioned this to me. He said that he had that boss design and that boss idea for 15 years. He had that plan, like, man, I want to do something like this. And it was cool that Nintendo gave him permission. And now I know why Nintendo gave them okay to work on this game, because there's something special. And this is, and for this generation, this is the Super Mario RPG of this generation.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, so we're back here, Gamertag Radio, episode 695, and we're going to be talking about The Crew 2. Pete, let's talk about it, man. We got to play this during Ubisoft pre-Gamescom event in San Francisco.
Yeah, so like we talked about, we got an opportunity to sit down and play through all of the additional modes that were presented by Ubisoft. Shout out to, I think it was Julian Hummer from the Ubisoft team. As you can see, we were playing The Crew 2, which is an open world racer, but it's not just on land. You've got boats, you've got airplanes, and then within those specific disciplines, I guess you could say, you've got you've got options. So from the car side, you've got drifting, sprint racing, cars like Audis, and just regular cars that you could see on the road. I think I was in at one point, I think I was racing with the Skyline. You and I were doing drifting. We did F1 like prototype racing, something like that. From the motorcycle side, we were doing we did speed racing on boats. we were doing powerboat racing, airplanes. It's just, it's craziness. I guess you could say it's taking the concept of like Burnout Paradise and putting it in all aspects of racing, not just in the car, in the middle of the street, in an urban setting. They essentially let you out onto the United States and you can just take off racing against everybody, or you could do your own thing. One of the things that I think we mentioned last week, you could just jump into a group with your friends and just take off across the country and drive from New York down to Miami, all the way over to LA, come on back. It's fun. It's more of an arcadey thing. And one of the things we actually talked about in the interview that you'll hear from Julian is exactly that. Why they decided to do something more along the lines of an arcadey type racer as opposed to something where, it's a simulator like Forza or, what's the one from, was it Gran Turismo from Sony, Crystal Diamond?
Yeah, the conversation we were having, P2, with your friend, he plays this all the time, and he's always trying to invite like his friends also to play along with him, and they would just drive all the way from like New York all the way to Las Vegas, but they will spend hours driving in order for them to get to that location and stuff. So while we were playing this game, we were always around the New York City area and stuff. So I think it was,
How did I know from the limited time span that we were able to play, did it seem realistic in any way, shape, or form? Like, did it? Were you able to?
I wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't really paying attention to that because at the moment they were showing us how to play, how to switch the vehicles, so I wasn't really paying attention. So I know when we were getting ready to play, I did mention to one of the developers, like, "Oh yeah, I grew up around this area." Like I showed him the map, and I wanted to go there, but it was like we had to like start right away, or for one of the competitions we're doing. By the way, Pete beat me during the drift one. I was because I couldn't do it, Pete. I was crashing everywhere. Like I was trying, but you were doing it pretty good, man. You got a lot of points from that, man.
Yeah, I
did better with the racing part instead of the drifting part.
Yeah, the drifting. It's hit or miss for me. For me in particular. There's times where I'll do well. There's times where I'll do horrible. And it's just a matter of getting the right flow going, especially with drifting. Like you want to hit the brakes, but you want to keep the gas going at all times because you want the wheels spinning and so on and so forth. So we did that. We did the racing one where it was mixed motorcycles and cars. That was one that I was winning. I passed you, and then right at the last turn, right before the end, I hit the wall and you passed me and you won. That was frustrating. One of the things that we were able to see here as well is the drop in, drop out, where you're able to just send out an invite to your friend, pops up on the screen, and then next thing you know, you hit go, you're transported to where your friend is at, and you guys can participate in a race or an event. I think that was something really, really cool that I appreciate from something from the crew too.
Yeah, and you only have to do that once, and so every time you go to a different event, Pete will get an invite if you're like if he's like in a different location, and he will automatically join my game without me sending any more invites. So that was very, very cool. I think this game is fun when you have like a big group to play online with this. I think it's actually fun, man. Especially if you do like game nights with the community. I can see that with this game.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what we have, one of the other things that we did was the powerboat racing. What was your experience like on the powerboat racing?
It's been mixed. I prefer bikes, cars, maybe planes, boats. I'm like that, like so and so with that. You?
I enjoyed it. I mean, there's multiple boat types in the crew too, and I think that helped me in particular because I had played it before. I knew kind of what to expect and kind of how the handling was going to be. Now, one of the things that they unveiled at the event was powerboat racing, which is something that I had never tried. So racing a monster powerboat like what they allowed us to play, I didn't have any previous experience, and the handling is insane because you're actually able to turn on a dime, but the power is so amazing that like you go from 0 to full speed almost instantaneous. On top of that, you also have the ability to use a boost or nitro or whatever you want to call it, that makes you go much faster than you normally would. One thing I did notice is that every time I hit nitro, it almost appeared, it felt as if everybody else would hit nitro at the same time. So I don't know if that
really,
yeah. So like I would be like catching up to somebody, and then I'd hit nitro, and then everybody would just seem to just like go just as fast. So I don't know if that's an in-game like design or if that was something different that they did. Did you feel like that or no?
I didn't even notice that at all. This is my first time that I've been hearing about this. Okay. I didn't know that. Interesting. While
we were doing this, they talked about a feature that allowed us to go back in time. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Kind of like the Photoshop mode, or not Photoshop. That's it's kind of like an instant replay / photo mode. Talk to me about that. What'd you think?
So this is a way for you to see how was your like. Basically, it shows like you could put the camera out, kind of like Google Maps, right, Pete? That's the one you're talking about. Are you talking about that one?
Yes.
It's like yes. Okay, so that one is for like if you want to check out like how was your driving. You could check out like also they did by mistake. I pressed the button and there was like a feature that they couldn't talk about. I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know that. So I had to get out of there. But it was cool to check it out because you could easily check out like the map, how was like your racing, if you were like going all over the place and stuff. And plus at the same time you could check out like the area how it is too, and you could zoom in, zoom out. It's kind of like a video editing type thing, right?
Yeah, there was like there was multiple angles. Like you could do like a free cam, a cinematic cam.
Close up,
like first person.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Things like that. And it was really, really cool for people, especially that go online and do content creation, kind of like what Paris was doing with his Destiny videos. It was it was really cool being able to, if people are out there and that would like to take videos like this and kind of make like their 5-minute cinematic shorts of music in the background and kind of make it like a Miami Vice episode up on YouTube or something. I think a tool like this would be fantastic because it'd be able to give you all of those different shots. I know we've seen it on stuff like Grand Theft Auto where people take video clips of those and they're able to use the camera mode to go back and take like those, the background shots where the sun's hitting at dusk or whatever. So that's pretty cool. I know people I think people will think somewhat of like a more modern Midnight Club on something like this.
Definitely. Now, my question to you guys, and Paris, you could join in. Why do you think people slept on the first game? Especially us. We skipped it completely. But this game, actually, when we sat down, it was fun. It wasn't. I thought it was going to be a flop when I first tried out during E3, but this was a lot of fun, I think, man.
I just think the Crew name, the Crew brand just doesn't have the market penetration or the brand awareness to get people to go, yo, man, when that Crew comes out, I'm going to go pick that up. They're still going to default to things like Forza Horizon, the Gran Turismo series. You're looking at the Need for Speed stuff because those are the racing brands that people know about. So if anything, I'm glad that Ubisoft has stuck with the Crew and will continue to iterate on the Crew and push it, because the only way you're going to get people to be aware about it is to keep putting the game out and just keep innovating it and pushing it, and eventually when people start to pick it up, word of mouth is going to get out. You're going to start talking about it on social media, etc. And then when that next version of the Crew comes out, all of a sudden people are like, oh crap, I got to go get the Crew, versus right now where people just simply don't know about it.
Yeah, I think it is true. I totally agree with that. Like, it's challenging when it's like a new IP, especially with type of game like this, car racing and all that stuff. So, but do you think, Pete, adding all these different vehicles that you could change on the fly, do you think that's going to help the game too, or not?
Well, again, being able to switch on a moment's notice, based on your event or whatever you're participating in, being able to switch from motorcycle to vehicle, or if you're skilled enough to do it, being able to jump off a bridge from your motorcycle or vehicle or car and transition to a boat. I think that just lends to the experience of the game in general. I like that they're not just giving you a generic vehicle type, with racer or drift car. They're actually going out and giving you name brand vehicles, like in the drift video or in the drift gameplay. It was a Mazda RX-8, right? And I think you had a different car. I can't remember which one you had. I think
I can't remember.
You might have had. I think you may have had the same one. When we did, actually at the beginning of the gameplay, they told us to go through and select the car that we preferred as our quote unquote favorite, so that it always defaulted to that. I can't remember what you had, but like I said earlier, I went and I got the Skyline, because for me that's just like a legendary racer car and something that I always would love to have had in my younger days.
You were picking based on power or based on handling or what?
Typically in games, in racing games, I would have gone with something more akin to just an overall racer. I wouldn't have gone something rear-wheel drive. In this instance, because the Skyline is an all-wheel drive, twin turbo, it's got a monster engine. It'll give you a lot of speed, a lot of power, amazing handling. Again, because it's an all-wheel drive, you've got more flexibility with depends on whether you're going to go street racing, if you're going to go drifting, if you're just going to go just straight run racing. You get opportunity. That type of car will give you something that's that would fit in each category. Normally, I probably wouldn't have gone with something like that. I probably would have gone something more probably like a Porsche, which I think is what I selected in my first playthrough at E3.
Okay, so we're gonna do this now. We're gonna play the interview, and once we come back, we're gonna end the show. We'll be right back.
With Western Digital, you're now able to get solid-state drives and hard drives to fit your unique needs. When you add the superior performance of a Western Digital solid-state drive to your PC, you get blazing read speed so you can boot your system quickly or load games and other applications in a snap. Combined with reliable Western Digital hard drives, you can get up to 6 terabytes of storage to keep your games library, direct feed video, podcasts, video editing, and more, all in a single place. And for a limited time, Gamertag Radio listeners can get 20% off a Western Digital solid-state drive with our coupon code WDGTR. I say it all the time, this thing has been an absolute lifesaver for me, just with all the video editing and content that I've been doing. That 4 terabyte SSHD drive that I got from Western Digital has just been clutch. So again, use that coupon code WDGTR, get 20% off. This promotion is about to run out, so this week is going to be your last chance to take advantage of this. So please do. And to find out more, go to WD.com/GTR.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right. We are here at the pre-Gamescom event from Ubisoft. Shout out to them for inviting us out here. I got Danny to my right, and I'm here with Julian once again. We're here to talk The Crew 2. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, actually, nice to actually physically see you, because like last time we were up on the roof, we were talking about this earlier, we're on the rooftop of the building, it was hard to see, and here we're in this nice shiny event space. So it's been a couple of months. There's obviously been some evolution and development for The Crew 2. Talk to me about the changes.
Yeah, we presented the Crew 2 at E3 this year, and we presented the 4 families, the street racing family, the freestyle family, the pro racing family, and the off-road family, with different disciplines part part of them. And today we are proud to reveal 3 new disciplines. So the motocross, part of the off-road family, the drift challenge, part of the street racing family, and then finally the single-seater Alpha Grand Prix, so a very, very fast concept car. So you played all the 3 events. I hope you enjoyed them.
Oh no, absolutely! I was we were racing with Danny, and it's every opportunity I had to crash into him just to make sure that he would just to mess with him. So let's go, I guess, in order of how we played. I guess we first started off with the street racing.
Was it motocross?
Or was it motocross? Okay, yeah. So we started off with the motocross. Talk to me about the thoughts behind bringing in motocross into the crew.
Well, our objective is to make sure that all the motorsport disciplines are part of the crew, and bikes, boats, planes, cars, and you can play everything. And one important thing for us is to make sure that all the vehicles and the disciplines in terms of handling are very different, and the feeling, the handling, the mood of all disciplines. And so the motocross was something very important for us because it's not only within the off-road to discover the nature, to explore the nature, but there it's a closed track and it's a race with other opponents. So it's a very different mood from the rally bread you enjoyed at E3.
Can you talk about also the co-op? Because he joined my crew. So how that affects in the game too once you go online and play against other people too?
Yeah, so all events are playable in co-op, so you can play up to 4 players. So the whole game is playable on co-op, but you can of course play and challenge your friends during the events, but you can also just explore the world as you might have done that within the game. So with the Fast 5 feature, so you can enjoy the open world, switch from one vehicle to another on the ground, in the air, or on water. So playing with that and then do crazy stuff, and using the new feature we unveiled, so the live replay tool, so you can do crazy stuff and then watch your war moments and share that with others.
Well, yeah, and also too the drift, right? That's the second one that we played. Was that the one that we were playing with motorcycles and cars?
No, the one. The one with the drift was, I believe, we had to go through Central Park.
Yeah, absolutely. The challenge drift.
Yeah,
event.
that was pretty interesting. I know you were having a little difficulty, Danny.
How many points did you score?
879.
Well, it's not bad. I mean, it's funny because the objective is to have 1,000 points to complete the objective. And at the office, within the studio, our champion is doing 30,000 points.
That's essentially drifting. You're essentially
the whole time. Absolutely, it's not amazing. Stopping, never stopping drifting. It's amazing.
The key thing is you can't crash, because that's what happened to me. I was crashing the whole time, so I wasn't getting a lot of points. You were on point the whole time, right?
Yeah, it's obviously a challenging type because the intent is to never lose momentum, never come to a complete stop, or never actually come into contact with things, or else you take a loss on points. And then the next one we went off-road, or did we do the I think it was the off-road. Yeah, we did off-road. I know during our play at E3, I had some difficulties doing this, but I think that helped prepare me for this. You guys unveiled a new vehicle for this?
Absolutely, the Ford Raptor. So it's a very different feeling from the buggy. So you played with the buggy at E3, the Rally Ready event. So the Raptor is a different feeling. So it's heavier. So it's for some people, it's easier to control this vehicle on the Rally Red event. And so for us, it's interesting to unveil this kind of vehicle because you can try event you already played with another vehicle, and it's a different experience.
Absolutely.
So based on your preference, you can just pick up the vehicle you want within the discipline and then have something very different in terms of feeling, in terms of handling. So it's very important for us to work on that.
I'm originally from New York City, so I was pretty happy to see we were playing it in the city and stuff. But do you guys actually went to like different places, location to get like the spots like on point or
yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. So when we first started to work on the game, so we have the people from the studio. We went to the US, we met motorsports people and within different cities, and it's one of our inspiration to discover these motorsports people and to make sure that it was grounded to reality when we built the game.
Cool.
Okay. And then the next one we went to the boats side. We did the jets, the jet the jet boats.
The jet sprint or the power boat?
Yeah, well, we did both actually. We did the jet sprint, and I think I'm going to draw upon my experience. I did much better this time because I knew what to expect. I knew the turning capacity of these things.
I turned around. I went to like a different direction. Everybody passed me, and you guys were crashing me too.
So it's very interesting because you played the game at E3. You play the game again today, and one thing that it was very important for us was to make sure that the game was accessible. So it's easy to pick up. The first time you played, you managed to complete the objective, to have fun with the vehicles within all the disciplines. But then you saw that you can improve and to be better on that. So for us, it was very important to make sure that the game was accessible, fun to play, easy to pick up, but also that you can improve on a regular basis, playing again with a different vehicle or in a different experience, and you are better and you are improving. So
each and every time, it's once you get that initial shock of the game out of your system, you actually are able to get back into a comfort zone and play. And then we went into the power boats last, I believe, and that was the second to last one. The power boats. Interesting, because it almost felt like the control scheme was a little bit different, and I don't know if maybe there's been some tweaks since E3.
We put more power on the power boat, so it's more powerful there compared to E3. Okay. And you had two power boats. You have the DCB, one of the most powerful power boat ever created, and you have the Vector. So you have two different experiences. So I don't know if you played with the same boat or you tried.
I think it was the red one, the dark, the red one. The marine.
So it's a DCB. It's a DCB.
Yeah, that one is that was really tough to control sometimes because it was going so fast. Yeah. So they had to like slow down because I was trying to beat you guys, but yeah, it didn't work for me, man. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, are we going to see also a lot of challenges too with like planes too, because we didn't get the chance to play that.
Currently, with planes, we only unveiled the aerobatic discipline. So at E3 during the first event playable, you had the aerobatics planes. You were able to play an aerobatic skill. So maybe you didn't try it, but we are going to unveil more disciplines with planes, boats, and cars and bikes, of course. But it's going to be later in the year. Maybe we'll meet again.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully. Okay, so the last one we did was kind of like a street race between motorcycles and cars, and so I noticed that while Danny and I were on motorcycles and everybody else was in cars, even though we would get hit by cars, that's not something that would normally happen where you would stay on there. Like I think that's what attracts me to a game like The Crew 2, because it's not as uber realistic or hyper realistic. There is some arcadey sense. Was that a design factor, or was that something that you wanted to maintain so that it wasn't a hyper realistic game?
Again, as I said, we want something very accessible and fun. So the arcade approach was something we wanted to have. So it's easy. You can pick up the car and do whatever you want. But if you are more simulator player, it's possible to touch the handling parameter, to remove all the help, and having something very different. But the first contact you have is something very arcade. And I'm pretty sure you play with the Alpha Grand Prix, the car. Did you play that?
Oh, the IndyCar, the
single-seater concept car.
Yes, we did.
So again, it's very easy to pick up, very fast car, but it's arcade fun.
No, absolutely. It was a lot easier to handle, quote unquote, as opposed to playing in one of those in a realism or like a simulator type thing.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. Do you have any other questions, Danny?
I mean, I love the game. It was actually a lot of fun, especially the last race, the bikes and cars. That was a lot of fun. I won too, and
that's a good point.
And I was taking a lot of shortcuts too, man. Yeah. I mean, how challenging was that too? Because you don't want to have like the cars always beating the bikes. You also have to have like a balance there, right? So how challenging was that while working on that?
We are working a lot on handling parameters to make sure that when you are playing with bikes, it's also interesting, but a different feeling. And we are tweaking all the time to make sure that it's good for players. We have players coming every week to the studio, taking the pad and playing the game to make sure that it's always fun, always interesting, always challenging. So it's the way we are working, iterating a lot, tweaking, and having something interesting to play.
My question to you is, because obviously we've been having a lot of fun. I saw actually it's always interesting to see a developer or someone on the development team actually playing it on their off time. And I noticed you were actually playing it right before we came in to do our interview. Do you have a favorite mode or a favorite vehicle in the game?
It's part of the experience of the game is to be able to switch between all these disciplines, all these vehicles on the ground, in the air, and on water. Mm-hmm. But I must admit, I love flying between buildings, just exploring the open world and between buildings, and then switch to a boat and be in big waves. So I like this kind of experience, not necessarily just competing, doing events, but just free roaming, going into the sky and then diving with my boat. So I like that.
Yeah, we were talking with one of our friends. He was telling us that he loves the first game. Like he played it. Still to this day, he plays that game all the time. But there's a lot of people that never had a chance to play The Crew. Can you tell us a little bit about that for those that don't know anything about the game?
About The Crew?
Yeah.
So The Crew is a massive, gigantic online open world driving game. Mm-hmm. So it's we had on The Crew 12 million players, and we are attracting every day more players. So for them, they will be able to discover a totally reshaped USA, we call Motor Nation, and they will discover very different experience. And when we are doing playtests with people, we have players coming to the office, and then some are The Crew fans, others not necessarily, and all of them, they love what you said. It's fun, and it's beautiful, it's fun, it's accessible, and they all love the new game. So it's great for us.
The reason why I brought that up is because when we were talking, he was telling us that the reason why he loves the game so much is like, sit back, just drive around different states, different cities.
Yeah.
And he will head up his friend. And I think they traveled from was it Chicago to like Vegas or something like that? But it took them a long, hours, but they'd be talking while driving around and checking out the area and everything. So that was really cool. So.
Yeah. Great.
So I guess wrap it up. When can we expect the game in stores?
So the game is going to be in store March 16, 2018.
Okay, looking forward to it. Any platform? It's going to be on all platforms, or
PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One, Xbox One X, and of course PC.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Back on the scene. This is Gamer Tag Radio.
All right, so we're back here, Gamer Tag Radio, episode 695. That was an interview about The Crew 2. For more information, head over to the Ubisoft official website. And I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. Later this week, we're heading to PAX, flying all the way to Seattle. Very excited about that. So stay tuned. We're going to release a lot of cool content straight from PAX. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Can we talk about this McGregor-Mayweather fight from last night?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
First off, I enjoyed it. Just from a sport fan, just from a combat sports perspective, I enjoyed it personally because I think McGregor brought something that nobody else expected. Nobody expected this fight, honestly, to last more than 5 or 6 rounds. I didn't think that Mayweather was going to knock him out. I know he's got 26 knockouts and 49 fights, 50 now. But a lot of those were earlier in his career. But I think he showcased more than what people expected. So at the end of the day, whether you like him or not, whether you like his braggadocio and the talk game that he brings to these events, you have to give him credit because it was a spectacle. And if you went into that expecting more than anything else, then I think you went into that with the wrong expectation. I appreciated it for what it was. It was a mixed martial art fighter going up against a skilled boxer. 2 different disciplines within the combat sports. Personally, I was already going for Mayweather walking into that just because my personal belief was skill plus the cardio training, regardless of whether it was a year plus, since, a year plus removed since his last fight. He's gone that 12 round distance dozens of times versus McGregor. You never really go beyond 4 or 5 rounds in his career. Yes, he was an amateur boxer allegedly when he was younger, but you can't make up that kind of training. Yes, it's a difference between 3 and 5 rounds, but when you're throwing everything into these 3 or 5 minute rounds, you're going to gas yourself, and that's exactly what he did. Mayweather pulled I believe it was Ali versus Foreman fight method, where he was just like, punch yourself out, just throw your hands, you're gonna get exhausted. And then rounds, I believe it was Mayweather started in 4 or 5, and it was all him, with the exception of maybe one round that I probably could have given to McGregor, where I think McGregor was he was emptying the kitchen sink at that point, and he was just gonna throw everything in the hopes that he was gonna be able to knock him out or injure Mayweather. And then we saw the
he got tired. He got tired at the end. Man. So
absolutely,
yeah. But it was cool because at the same time, like, I'm so used to seeing Mayweather just running around. He wasn't even doing that
at all. He was actually the forward aggressor. He was moving forward, and that's one thing that we haven't seen from him in a long time. So
definitely,
I was happy for that.
Paris, what about you, man?
I really don't have that much to say.
There you go.
I mean, Pete basically said it all. I mean, again, Mayweather, he's the greatest defensive boxer we've ever seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no way, unless Conor caught him early with a left, there was no way he was going to win that fight. Honestly, I thought it was just going to go to distance for 12. But, like you said, Floyd was actually aggressive. And when that 7th round, when you saw that Conor was starting to get gas, Floyd saw it, boom, he started going after him. And then that he shouldn't have got out in the 9th round. And we were even in the chat saying, well, this is it. This will be the last round. And then sure enough, it was. But
do you think,
okay. But I felt we kind of, quote unquote, got our money's worth. It wasn't a complete sideshow. Conor early on stood toe to toe with Floyd. So I give him props for that. No one expected him to win. I don't care what anyone says. Those two dudes have been laughing all the way to the bank for months, So, hey, Conor got his 100 million. Floyd got God knows how much he's getting on the back end. Conor will go back to UFC, continue to talk trash, say that he stood toe to toe with arguably the greatest fighter we've ever seen, and we'll move on. There you go, done.
Yeah.
So the reported
Dana White was chilling in the back. It was like, oh man, now more people are gonna be watching UFC.
I don't know.
They were promoting that like crazy.
Part of me thinks that Dana White was there like Mick and Rocky, throw in the towel. But at the end of the day, this was a money making venture for both of them. I mean, just before the fight, the purses were 100 million for Mayweather, 30 million for McGregor. McGregor has amassed only 9.3 million over his UFC fighting career, so he already tripled his money. Plus, because he was actually part of the promotions deal and he was getting pay-per-view share, it's projected that Mayweather was going to make upwards of 200 million and McGregor was going to make upwards of $100 million.
Oh my God.
That's between, that's from like merchandise and sponsorships and pay-per-view points that, because of this fight, McGregor was doing this as McGregor Promotions or whatever his promotions company is. So there's that. The thing that was surprising was that the cable systems actually had an effect on the fight. There was a delay, and that's why the fight didn't go on till after 12 o'clock, was that the cable systems themselves, Showtime actually had to shut down and reboot their systems so that they could actually show the fight. That is what's concerning to me. And that makes you consider, it's like, all right, well, why are we as consumers paying all these monster numbers to these cable providers if their systems can't support what they're selling us? It's 2017. Update your infrastructure, people. Come on.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Head over to gamertagradio.com gamertag.com or play.it/gamertag. Listen to our past episodes, share it with your friends. You also can find us on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and other podcast directories. Also, watch us live on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv/gamertag radio. We record every Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Wednesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.